Hey, what is up, guys? It's me, Vibhor again, and I'm back with another video. Uh, I'm working as an assistant professor at Suresh Gyan Via University. And just to give you a quick revision of the last lecture, in the last lecture, we talked about some basic terms related to accounting and what are assets, what are liabilities. So, before starting with the session, I'll just give you a quick revision of all those terms and then we'll move on to the new topic. So, first is basic accounting equation asset is equal to liabilities. Okay, whatever money we get, that is a liability for the business. Businessman and business are not the same thing. So, whatever money we're getting in the business, that is a liability for the business. And with that money, we purchase assets. Okay, so both the things are always equal, both the things are always related to each other. What are assets? Assets are the valuable economic resources of an enterprise useful in its operation. Assets can be classified into two types: current asset and non-current assets. Okay, moving on. Yes, non-current asset, tangible asset, any asset that has a physical stimulus, and any asset that can be seen or touched, that is called tangible asset. Intangible assets are those assets which cannot be seen or touched. Yes. If we talk about liabilities, liabilities are the obligation or debt that an enterprise has to pay. On the same grounds, asset was classified into two parts. Similarly, liabilities are also classified into two types. First is current liabilities, the liabilities which are supposed to be paid within 1 year, that is called current liabilities. For example, if you have purchased some goods from someone on credit, that is called current liability for the business. Okay, and bills payable, etc. Bills payable, I'll explain in the coming topic sometime in the future. If you talk about non-current liabilities, so non-current liabilities are those liabilities which are not to be paid within 1 year. For example, loan, home loan ho gaya, car loan, all those loans are example of non-current liabilities. If you talk about receipt, receipts are of two types: capital receipt and revenue receipts. Okay, so if I try to explain revenue receipts, let's just focus on this photograph. Okay, so I've included so many photographs in the slide so that it is easier for you guys to remember and you can recall it easily. So if I talk about revenue receipt, the first thing I want to explain is what is revenue. Revenue is another term for sales. Revenue and sales is the same thing. Revenue and sales is the same thing. So what are revenue receipts? Revenue receipts are receipts which are happening due to sales. Due to sales. So revenue receipts are those receipts which are occurred by the normal operation of a business. By the normal operation of a business, like money received as sale of business products. Example देखिए, if you focus on this gentleman, he has a shop, he is selling food grains. Okay, there's so many food grains, everything is lying around, and this is the customer. He is purchasing all these items, and the shopkeeper, let's say his name is Mr. A. Mr. A wants to sell all the items. So all the money that he'll receive by selling all these items, that is called revenue receipts. Okay, because the main objective or the normal operation of the business is to purchase and sell these food items. Okay, I hope you're getting what I'm trying to say. So this is called revenue receipts. And when we talk about capital receipt is a receipt when we receive money due to some capital transaction. Now, what are capital transaction? Capital transaction are those transactions which are not revenue in nature. Also, we can also understand it like this: those transactions which are not occurring in the normal day-to-day activities of a business. Okay, that is called capital receipt. If you look at the photo, for example, if I sold this car, okay, and I've received some money, so this is also receipt. I'm receiving some money, but that is a capital receipt. Now the question is, what is the need to classify? Question is, it doesn't matter, na, if it is revenue receipt or it is capital receipt. It doesn't matter because both the receipts belong to the business. Both the receipts are of business. But no, it is matter. It is very important to classify revenue receipt, capital receipt. For example, if we talk about sales, we talk about sales. So sales only includes revenue receipt. That means the amount that we receive by selling our goods, or selling our stock, selling our product, that is called sales. And capital receipt, for example, if I sold some car, if I sold a car, that amount that I receive by selling a car, it will not be termed as sales. Will not be termed as sales. it will be recorded in the books as car sold or money received by the sale of car. Okay, why is the classification? See, we have to identify as a business. I'll just take back to you the first lecture. What is the purpose of preparing accounts? Okay, what is the main objective of preparing accounts? The main objective is to communicate the performance of the company to the various stakeholders. This is the main objective. And if we are communicating to the stakeholders, the sales of a business in a year is, let's say, 10 crore rupees, is, let's say, 10 crore rupees. So this 10 crore rupees signifies, or it identifies with the amount that we have received by the sale of goods. If we club the sale of land or sale of car, for example, if my this car is Land Rover, okay, Range Rover, okay, and if I sell this car for, let's say, 20 lakh, by second hand I'm selling the car, let's say 20 lakh rupees, second hand car I've sold. So if I include this 20 lakh in this 10 crore rupees, so it will become 10.2 crore, which is not right. That is not right. Okay. If we communicate this figure to the shareholders, to the bank or any other stakeholders, they will understand that, okay, the company has sold goods worth rupees 10 crore and 20 lakh, which is not the case. 10 crore is sales and 20 lakh is money received by sale of fixed asset. Okay. Also, you can also understand. Let's say I hire a manager, Mr. X, and Mr. X salary is 1 lakh rupees per month plus 5% commission on sales. Commission on sales. So this sales is only this sale. When Mr. X is coming to the business every day at 9 a.m. and leaving the business every day at 5 p.m. and he's working for those, that the amount of hour he's spending in the business, he's working only to increase the sale. If the business has purchased any fixed asset and the business is selling some fixed asset, and if the business is receiving some money by the sales of that fixed asset, the manager has not contributed anything. Are you getting what I'm saying? Manager is coming in the business, he's making plans to increase the sales, he's making plan to reduce the cost, to increase the profit. Okay, he's not contributing anything in making this sale possible, or he has not contributed anything in increasing the value of my asset. Are you getting what I'm saying? So that is why we need to classify between the two receipt, the revenue receipt and capital receipt. Okay. Now we talk about expense. So expense is very easy. Anything that you lose or anything, the cost that is incurred for that is cost that is incurred by the business. For example, earning revenue are known as expense. Okay, earning revenue. Anything that I spend to make sales is called expenses. For example, payment of salary, payment of rent, payment of wages, interest, everything is expense. Okay. Now, what are expenditures? Expenditure is spending money or incurring a liability for acquiring asset. For acquiring asset, goods or service is called expenditure. The expenditure is classified as, now expenditure is also classified into two types. First is revenue expenditure. First is revenue expenditure. So see, the meaning is going to remain the same. The meaning of the word revenue here means sales. This means sales, right? So expenditure means all expenditures that are incurred to increase sales or that are directly related to sales. That is called revenue expenditure. It is the amount spent to purchase goods and services that are used during an accounting period. The benefit of those goods and services which will last only one accounting period or 1 year. That is called revenue expenditure. Example, rent, interest, etc. Then we talk about capital expenditure. Now, capital expenditure are those expenditure whose benefit is going to last for more than 1 year. The benefit of expenditure will last for more than 1 year. It is called a capital expenditure. So I think now it is clear to all of you. Okay, by capital, I mean anything the benefit of which is going to last for more than 1 year. Okay, and whenever I talk about revenue, that is sales. So all the expenses that are related to sales or that are directly related to sales are called revenue expenditure. Example, purchase of plant and machinery. Okay, now we talk about deferred revenue expenditure. This is a very important topic to understand. This is very logical, and this is also very important from interview perspective. Okay, so whenever we are studying BBA and BCom or MBA or whatever, higher education, and when we talk about education up to 12th, there is a basic difference that student fail to gather. And the basic difference is, here you are not studying for marks. Of course, you're going to get good marks and everything. Of course, that is there. But the main objective of studying a BBA or MBA is to acquire knowledge, to increase your awareness about these things. Okay, and then you are going to be judged on the basis of your awareness in the interview. And if you score good marks in an interview, you are going to get very good packages. You'll be surprised to know, that you'll be shocked. Surprise is not good. You'll be shocked to know that a student of Gyan Gate University, while pursuing his BBA, got a package of 10 lakh rupees. Can you imagine? He has got a package of 10 lakh rupees when he's 21 years of age. Can you imagine what his package would be when he'll be 28 or let's say 25? When you'll complete your MBA, let's say 23, 24, you'll complete your MBA. That time his package would be very easily 12 to 30 lakh. It's not about the education, it's not about the university, it's about how much aware you are about whatever is happening around you. That is what is valuable. Okay, and a company would always want to hire someone who has awareness instead of someone who doesn't know anything about anything. Okay, so this question is also very important from interview perspective. I have faced interviews and this question was asked to me in interviews. Yes. So whenever you're studying any topic, okay, don't try to mug up the topic. Try to understand what it means. So for example, if my name is Vibhor Jain and your name is let's say Pawan Kumar. So if I ask you why your name is Pawan, do you sound like wind? Do you move like wind? No. My father, my parents, they were just like, no, this name is good and we'll keep this name. Same with me. But the name of deferred revenue expenditure, it has some logic behind it. What is the meaning of this term is hidden in the word that are being used. Okay, so this is how we should study. Whatever subject you're studying, whatever topic you're studying, okay, you have to understand why this thing is called whatever it is called, except for names. So when I talk about deferred revenue expenditure, I'll explain this topic. I'll take 10 minutes and explain this topic because this topic is very important. It is very, very essential for you to understand. So, deferred revenue expenditure are, first of all, I'll break this topic into small, small parts. Okay. First is expenditure. What are expenditures? So, expenditures, like we've already covered, are expenses or amount that is incurred, some cost that is incurred to acquire any asset or to acquire any service or goods, anything that is. Now, when we talk about capital expenditure, now this expenditure term, it was divided into two types. Okay, I hope all of you know this was divided into two types. Sorry, we were divided into two types. Something is not right. But okay, we can manage a little bit. Okay, expenditure. This was divided into revenue and capital. Revenue and capital. Okay, so what are revenue expenditures? Revenue expenditures are the expenditures which are related to sales, and capital expenditure are those expenditures which are not related to sales. For example, acquisition of any asset. Now, when we're talking about revenue expenditure, that means whatever this expense is, it is definitely related to sales. It is a normal day-to-day expense. It is related to the business. It is directly related to the operating activity of the business. Now, the question that might come into your mind is, what are operating activities? Okay, what are operating activities? So, I'd like to explain it with the help of an example. Okay, I don't have much space to write, so you can just listen to me. Operating activities are those activities which are the main revenue generating activities of the business. For example, if you are a jeweler, your main business or main objective or main activity that you do every day in a business is purchase and sales of jewelry, right? If you're a builder, then purchase and sale of flats, house. Okay, are you getting what I'm trying to say? So this is called revenue expenditure. Okay, so I was, yes, operating activities. So operating activities are those activities which are directly related to the business, and non-operating activities are those activities which are not directly related to business. So if I say non-operating income, okay, if I write it down, if I can also write it down, if I say operating income, okay, all these things are related. Operating income, or let's say revenue receipt, okay, revenue expenditure, all these things have the one thing in common, that is they are the main objective, they are related to the main objective or the main activity, the main intention after which or due to which the business was set up. Okay, do you understand what I'm saying? For example, if I give you an example, let's just say this is our university, Suresh Gyan Vihar University. The university is very very big, but just understand. And this is Genpact. This is Genpact. Okay. Now Suresh Gyan Vihar University is the NAC A grade university. It is one of the first private university to get NAC A grade and everything. Of course, you know all that. But the point is, the university. The kids come to the university by the bus that are owned by the university, and then the bus is just standing there in the parking in the evening at 5 p.m. or whatever the time is. It is 5 p.m. The bus take the student from the university and they drop them back there, back to their homes. Okay, so in the daytime, the buses are just standing in the parking, waiting for that day to get over. So our neighbor is Genpact. Genpact is one of the very big organization, and it has client all over the world. So Genpact is our neighbor, and one day a team of people from America, from the US, they came to visit Jaipur Genpact. Okay, and then they did their work and everything. Now the Jaipur division wants to give them a tour of the city. Where Jaipur has a very bright heritage, and we have so many historical places and so many good places that everyone wants to visit. So the people who came from US, they were like, "Sir, we want to visit Jaipur." Visit Jaipur. So Jaipur was like, "Okay." So they came to us. He said, "Your buses are just standing there in the daytime. They're standing there. Can we use your bus to give a tour of the city to our delegates who have come from USA?" We were like, okay, sir, no problem. You are my neighbor. It's fine. But since this is business, I will charge you some rent. And let's say the university charges them rent. Let's say 10,000 rupees. This 10,000 rupees we have charged from the Genpact for the rent of the bus and the driver and petrol and everything. We have charged 10,000 rupees. Okay. Great. Okay. Now, this income of 10,000, is this my operating income or is this my non-operating income? What do you guys think? So, according to me, this is my non-operating income because the business, the university, it is not established to give bus on hire, right? The main objective of the business is to give education, is to provide good quality education to the students and help them design their future. Okay, this is the purpose of the university. So if any income that has happened due to any other activity related to the main objective or main activities of the business, those activities are called non-operating income. For example, these 10,000 rupees, we have earned this money. This is the income of the university, but this is for the purpose of accountancy when we are judging the efficiency or the effectiveness of the management. When we want to calculate कि भाई what is the contribution of the management, then we will not include this 10,000 because the management has not worked for this. The management is working to increase the admission, to maintain the level of education, to maintain the quality of education, and all those things. So they are spending time for those activities. So that is the main operating activity. So whatever amount the university is receiving by the way of tuition fees and all those things, that is our main operating activity. Any other income by any other source which is non-recurring in nature. What do you mean by non-recurring? That means it is not going to repeat itself again and again. It is a one time opportunity. Okay, it doesn't happen too often. That is called non-operating. So all these things basically they convey the same thing. This is when we talk about receipt, this is expenditure, and this is the income. Okay, all these things communicate the same thing, that the amount that we're talking about is received uh, from the main objective of the business. So the conclusion is revenue expenditure means the expenditure that we're talking about, it is related to revenue, it is related to sales, it is related to sales, and the benefit of that expenditure is going to last for 1 year only. But it says deferred. What is the meaning of the word deferred? Deferred means delay. Deferred means delay. Deferred means delay. So if I club everything together, it means any expenditure which is related to sales, but there are certain expenditures which will not be charged to the profit and loss account at the same year. It will be delayed. It will be deferred. What it means is the benefit of these expenditures is going to last for more than 1 year. Okay, but revenue expenditure means any expenditure, the benefit lasts 1 year. Deferred revenue, we are delaying the expenditure, we are delaying the charge of expenditure because the benefit lasts for more than 1 year. For example, if I talk about example, huge advertisement expenditure. So, to explain more, I have this photograph courtesy of Network 18 Creatives, and it says that Virat Kohli and this brand Puma, okay, Puma, whatever you want to call it, they signed a 8-year deal for rupees 110 crore rupees. So for the ease of calculation, let's say it's 120 crore. So Virat Kohli and Puma, they signed a deal for 120 crores, for which for 8 years Virat Kohli is going to wear clothes of Puma and he's going to advertise Puma and he's going to be the brand ambassador of Puma. So if you talk about from the perspective of the company, this 120 crore rupees is a very big amount. It's a very big amount. If we charge 120 crores in the as a P&L at the expense of 1 year, our profit of that year is going to reduce by a very big amount. Okay, and see, business is just starting. Let's just assume the business is just starting, and at that time we have to incur huge expenditures. You know, and if we charge the complete expenditure to 1 year, and we go and we require some loan, right? And if we go to the bank, and the bank asks, "What is your profit? How much profit are you making? Do you have sufficient money to repay the interest?" And they're going to check our balance sheet and P&L, and they'll see, oh, there is a loss because of this expenditure. So what it says is, what is the principle that says that you can distribute this amount over the life of the expenditure. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll divide this 120 crores by 8. It gives us 15. So we'll charge 15 crore rupees in the profit and loss of every year for 8 years. For 8 years. For example, if I talk about first year, okay, 15 rupees will be charged in the P&L account, and the remaining amount, that is 115. This will be shown in the balance sheet on the asset side as in under the heading deferred revenue expenditure. Okay. In the second year, again in P&L, I'll charge 15 crores, and the remaining amount, that is, no, sorry, it is 105. Guys, I'm sorry, it's 105. Remaining amount 90. This amount we will show in the balance sheet as deferred revenue expenditure. Okay, and so on and so forth. And in the last year, this is going to cancel out. Okay, is it clear to everyone? Clear, not clear, please? Okay, now is it clear? Okay, now if we talk about capital, see, Gandhiji is wearing a mask, you should also wear a mask. So when we talk about capital, capital is the amount that is invested by the owner in the firm. For example, this is Mr. A, and this is his business, that is A Limited. Okay, so I'll teach you maybe in the coming lectures. Both the things are not same. I'll give you a very easy and easy to understand example. Have you ever gone, like, imagine a situation? Okay, you wake up and your mom is like, "Son, go and get some milk." So you go to get some milk, and you have a note of 2,000 rupees, and you go to the shopkeeper, and the shopkeeper says, "Ki the milk is of 50 rupees. You pay, give me the change." And you are like, "Sir, I'm so sorry, I don't have the change." So what he'll do, if you have seen this happening, like, I bet you have already seen this happening. But if you can recall, what he'll do is he'll take 500 rupees out of his own pocket, he'll count that, and he'll put that 2,000 rupees that we've given him in his pocket, and he will put 5,000 four notes of 5,000 rupees in the cash box. Why? Because everything that he's earning belongs to him. And why is he doing it? Because he wants to separate. He wants to separate the business and the businessman. The expenditure of business and the expenditure of businessman should be separated. They should be separate. Okay. So, and that is why it is treated as a liability for the business. Any amount that is given to us by Mr. A, that is treated as a liability. Don't think it is our money. It's not your money. It is the money of the businessman. And the amount that we have, and we are sorry, amount that we have, it is a liability for the business because Mr. A is the owner of that amount, and we treat it as a liability. Okay, it may be bought in form of cash and also asset. It can be cash and also it can be in the form of assets. Okay, if I have a land, then I can use my land to start a business, and we'll also assume. Okay, we'll cover it later. Okay, clear? This is all about capital. If I talk about drawings, they are very easy. Since let's assume Mr. A has contributed 1 lakh rupees to the business. He wants to start a business and he has bought 10 lakh rupees, and due to some reason he withdrew 10,000. He withdrew 10,000 rupees. So this 10,000 rupees for personal use, this is very important, for personal use. Okay, for personal use, and this amount will be treated as drawings. Any amount that is drawn by the businessman from the business for his personal use, it is called drawings. By first introduce the money, now he has drawn the money. That is called drawing. I hope it is clear to everyone. Okay, and not importantly just cash. If the businessman withdraw some goods, for example, if I have a sweet shop and there are some guests who are coming over to my place, will I go and buy the sweets from somebody else? No, I am making the sweets, right? So the businessman is going to withdraw the money. He's going to withdraw the goods this time. That is also called drawing. Okay, now we are going to talk about a very important topic, a very important principle, that is profit. What is profit? Do you see this guy? He's so happy, right? Business is growing, profit is increasing. So, what is profit? The excess of revenues over its related expenses. We have all known how to calculate profit, right? You all know profit is equal to selling price minus cost price. This is profit. Same profit is equal to revenue minus expenses. But this is of 1 unit, selling price of 1 unit. If I take revenue, if I take sales, if I take turnover, it is one and the same thing. And this is the expenses that are incurred to make this sale. Okay, the difference is profit. Now I talk about gain. See, profit and gain is not the same. When we talk about accounting, profit and gain is not same. What is the difference? So gain is a non-recurring profit. Gain is a non-recurring profit from events or transaction incidental to the business. They are not the main operating activity. That is not the main operating activity, but incidental to the business, such as sale of fixed asset, appreciation in the value of asset. Okay, so just understand, right? If I explain gain in further detail, I can say gain is the unknown amount of income in the future. Let's say if you're making this pen, the pen I'm using to write on the screen, if you're making this pen, so this pen has plastic and it has some circuit inside and a battery and all those things, whatever this has. Okay, so let's say you're just making this pen, and if the cost of this pen is, let's say, 1,000 rupees, and the selling price is 1,500, do you know what is the amount of profit that you're making? Yes, sir, we know that the profit is 500 per unit. This is the profit. If you sell 10 units, the amount of profit would be 5,000. If you sell 100, the amount of profit would be 50,000. Are you getting what I'm saying? So the amount of profit is always known with certainty. You know with certainty what is the amount of profit, what is the amount of profit that I'm going to make. But when I talk about gain, for example, let's consider one more example. If you purchase a piece of land in the year 2001 for rupees 1 crore, and now in 2021, the value of that land is 70 crore. Okay, it's 70 crores. So this amount 69, this is your gain. This is not your profit, this is your gain. Did you know how much profit are you going to make? No, it depends on market forces. It depends on market forces. For example, if during the time of Notbandi, during the time of Corona, the market has taken a setback because there's lockdown and the people are not going out and the business is suffering. So the value of the land is going to reduce. It's not going to be 70 now. It will be somewhere around 50 or whatever. So you don't know what is the amount of gain that you'll make. So that is why I'm saying it is an unknown amount of income that will happen sometime in the future, and we don't know how much that gain is going to be. It is non-recurring, but you're not going to sell the piece of land every day, right? But the pen, you'll Intentionally make sure that you sell at least 100 pen every day. Are you getting what I'm saying? What is loss? Loss is very easy. When expenditure are more and revenue or sales is less, that is called loss. Now, what are goods? Okay, very easy. Can you see this? These items. This is goods. The products in which the business deals in, whatever is the main product of the business. Okay, that is called goods. The items that are purchased for the purpose of resale and not for use in the business. For example, someone who sells electronics, for him air conditioner, that is a goods. For a jeweler, gold is goods. For a builder, house is goods. But for a shop, for an electricity shop, electrical shop, for an electronics shop, okay, so there is a slight difference, electronic, electrical, and all those things. But it's fine. For, let's say, if you talk about a jeweler, if you talk about a jeweler, right? So for a jeweler, AC is not goods; it is asset. But for an electronic shop, for Great Western, and all those shops, for Big Bazaar, this is goods. Are you getting what I'm saying? So in the business, goods is only something that the business deals in. If you talk about purchase, it's very important to understand. People make so many mistakes in this. It's a very simple topic. The term purchase is only used for goods. I'll repeat myself once again. Purchase is only used for goods. What if I'm purchasing a laptop? What if I'm purchasing a laptop? Is that equivalent to purchase? No. If it will not be denoted by purchase in the books, it will be denoted by laptop purchase. It will be denoted by laptop purchase. Are you getting what I'm trying to say? Okay. So the term purchase is used only for the goods procured by the business for resale. Are you getting what I'm saying? I'll repeat myself once again. Please don't make this mistake. Okay. At the end of this lecture, I also have some MCQ questions that I would like you to solve, and the answer is also given at that place only. And if you have any problem, you face any problem while going through those videos or the questions, you can definitely ask me. So purchase is only used for goods. Whenever I'm purchasing anything else, be it machinery, land, plant and building, furniture, car, whatever, we are going to denote by the name of the asset. Plant, furniture, car, air conditioner, cooler, whatever. Okay. What is purchase return? But you all know what is purchase return. For example, Amazon, we have purchased some goods from Amazon and then we did not like it, so we can return it. So for us, it is purchase return, but for Amazon, it is sales return, right? We will talk about the return in the future. When purchase goods are returned to the supplier, these are known as purchase return. Okay. What do we mean by sales? Sales are the total revenue from the goods sold or service provided to the customer. Sales may be cash or credit. Credit, I hope you understand what is credit. Cash is. Okay, so what is sales? Sales are the total revenue from goods sold or service provided. What are sales return? Sales return are the goods that we have sold to the customer, but due to some reason, maybe quality, maybe packaging, maybe delivery, whatever, they return the goods. That is called sales return. What are debtors? I'll take an example once again. If Mr. A had sold some goods to B, okay? In the books of A, Mr. B is a debtor, and in the books of B, Mr. A is debtor. Okay, in the books of A, Mr. B is debtor. That means Mr. B has to receive some goods from Mr. B. If you talk in Hindi, it is called Dendar. In Hindi, it is called Dendar, and in English, oh sorry, in creditor, is called Lendar in Hindi. Okay, Dendar and Lendar. So debtor, anybody who owes us something, or anybody from whom we receive, or we are liable to receive, or we are authorized to receive something cash. Okay, that is called debtor. These are assets for the business. Of course, you have to receive some goods, so it is an advantage situation. Okay, that is an asset. And being Okay, sorry. Mr. A is creditor. Okay. What are creditors? If we talk from Mr. B's point of view, Mr. A is a creditor. That means Mr. B owes Mr. A. Mr. B has purchased the goods, so he was supposed to make the payment. So Mr. B owes Mr. A something. That is why Mr. B is the uh, debtor for A, and for B, A is creditor. Okay. What is discount? Very easy. Discount is a rebate that is given by the seller to the buyer. Discount is a rebate that is given to the seller by the buyer. It can be classified as now discount is classified into two types: trade discount and cash discount. Trade discount and cash discount. Two classification: cash discount and cash discount and trade discount. Discount, right? You know what is discount? Yes, sir. It is a rebate. Okay, rebate. Now, what are trade discount? Trade discount are the discounts that are given to increase the trade. Discount that is given to increase the trade. You have seen it, or you can see it all around you. Buy two, get one free. Buy three, get four free. This is a trade discount. Okay, you've seen it. Discount, flat 50%. Star lagli hota hai on selected items, whatever, or up to 50%, whatever. So that discount is given to increase the trade because the customer will see, oh, there is a discount offer that is going on. They'll purchase of goods they don't need at the time, but they'll be like, okay, now it is available at discount, it is available at lower prices, so let's purchase it. We'll use it sometime in the future. Okay, that is called discount. That is called trade discount. What is cash discount? Cash discount is given to increase cash. Cash discount is given to increase the cash. Okay, what trade discount? The purpose of this discount is to persuade the buyers. We want to influence. We want to persuade the buyers to purchase the goods. It is offered at an agreed price, usually MRP, and we provide discount at the percentage of list price or MRP. This discount is not recorded in the books of accounts. Very very logical, right? If the MRP of the goods is, let's say, 8,000. Okay, I purchased shoes, MRP 8,000. Discount was 50%. So the shopkeeper knows what the discount is. So when they'll book the sales in their books, they will book it at 4,000. Because it is their price. No, they have decided that 50% or 40% or 30%, they have decided. So whenever they'll record the sales in their books, they will record it at 4,000. So the discount is already gone out of the books. Okay, and that is why it is not recorded in the books. Example. Okay, I don't want a corporate strike or anything. This piece of chocolate MRP is 349, but the amount is 329. 6% discount. 6% discount. This is example of trade discount. This is example of trade discount. Now, what is cash discount? Cash discount is it is an incentive that is given to the debtor to make sure the debtor pays the due quickly than he is supposed to. For example, if I have sold some goods to Mr. A, no, Mr. A has sold some goods to Mr. B for rupees 500. Okay, and Mr. B was supposed to make the payment after 2 months. After 2 months. So Mr. A wants the payment early, so he'll give him some discount. Mr. B, like Mr. A is gonna say to Mr. B, Mr. B, you can make the payment of 460. It's fine if you pay me within 1 month. If you pay me within 1 month, you only have to pay 460 rupees. So 40 rupees, that is cash discount. And this type of discount is recorded in the books. Okay. Yes. What are stocks? Stock is the good which is available with the business for sale on a particular date. That is called stock. Out of stock. This is the question. I want all of you to please try and solve this question. These are true and false. I think there are 9. Yes, there are 9 MCQs, true and false. I request you to solve this question and try to find the answer of everything. I'll disclose the answer in the next lecture. And to get the notification of the next lecture, please subscribe to our channel. And thank you so much for joining in. And I'll see you guys in the next lecture. Okay? Please take care and have a good day.